What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Play All the Things walkthrough guide of obtaining all of the ancient bows in the Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Zombies map, Der Eisendrache. My school didn't offer German as a second language, okay? Maybe I should have gone to a better school for languages, but... Anyway, the bow in question is, in this video, is the fire bow, which is probably the most difficult to obtain. Not necessarily the most confusing, but definitely requires a lot of good aim, so I guess let's get right into exactly how we obtain this bow. So step one is, first of all, as with all the bows, to obtain the regular explosive-tipped arrow bow, which is attained by going to these three precise locations on the map. The first being in this courtyard that's off to the right of the starting area. And basically, similar to the hellhounds in Mob of the Dead, you have to feed zombies to them. This is done by killing zombies while the dragon isn't eating anything, and then it will suck it up and it will eat it, and eventually it will take its head back, it will breathe loads of fire, like you see right now, crumble to stone, and that dragon is considered completed. And you can only feed one zombie at a time, so keep that in mind. Don't mow down an entire train expecting it to get done, only one of them will be eaten. The second location is in the tech room, which is off to the left of spawn. Or you could just turn on the power and get in that way. I mean, you have to turn on the power regardless, but yep, that's where this one is. It'll do the same thing, it will behave the same, take exactly the same amount of zombies, and there we go, that's that one done. And the final dragon will be at the bottom of the map in the temple with the pyramid. Like with the others, you just feed one zombie at a time. There's not really much else to say other than don't kill the entire train, like it would be so tempting to do here. There we go, throws its head back, gives an almighty roar, it crumbles to stone. And, yep, once you've fed all three dragons, and they've all crumbled, you then have to proceed up into the crypt that's above the temple, and a bow will have spawned at the end of the room. This is where the bows now start to differ. So step 2 of the fire bow is simply obtaining the upgrade quest for actually getting the fire bow. Very simple, you just go to the top of the clock tower, and on the wall, where the clock face would be on the outside of the wall, you need to shoot the glyph with your bow, which will cave in the wall and give you the broken arrow, which you can then start upgrading. The step 3 is fairly straightforward and can be a bit long and tedious, but basically you have to go down to the rocket pad, wait for the rocket to launch, the doors will close, sealing you in here and protecting you, and when they reopen you only have a few seconds to rush out, look up and to the right, and shoot this glowing orange circle on this stone with your bow, and that's basically the step done. Fairly straightforward. The step 4 is again pretty straightforward, but also very essential. You need to go around the map activating the 4 landing pads that are scattered around. So the first one is on the rocket pad, as you saw. The second one is next to the clock tower, as you can see. The third one is above double tap, and the fourth one will actually be in spawn. Very essential, you need to make sure all 4 of these are on for step 5 to be completed. So step 5 is pretty damn tricky. What it is you have to go to each of the wunderspheres, and while you're flying through the air, you need to look for some glowing orange circles on the floor. The first one is, as you can see, next to the clock tower. You can only hit these while you're flying through the air, and the best way to line up each shot is to aim down and to the right, and you'll see it sets you up quite nicely to be able to hit these. The second one, as you can see, is next to the death ray, and the third one is just outside double tap. They're all fairly tricky to hit, but if you aim roughly where we've been aiming in the video, you should be able to get them no problem. And for step 6, now that you've hit all of them, they will stay lit up orange. They won't just be lit up orange when you're flying through the air. You need to go to each of the circles now, like we've explained, on the clock tower, or sorry, near the clock tower, by the death ray and down next to double tap. You need to stand in these circles and kill zombies. It's very straightforward, but it is a very tight, compact area. So we'd recommend using the bow because it's instant damage, and it does. I don't think it has any splash damage unless you charge it up. I'm not quite sure. Don't quote me on that. But basically, you have to keep killing the zombies until the orange souls stop dropping. You'll also see a nice ray of light that goes up to the sun that's above the death ray right now. And basically, once they're all completed, the step will be finished, and you can move on to the next step. Step 7 is, again, slightly complicated. We're going to have to go back to the top of the clock tower, where you got your original upgrade quest from, and you need to go and hit the clock with your action button, be it square, X, or I think is it F on PC? I'm not quite sure, don't quote me on that. But basically, when you spin the clock tower, a symbol will appear above it and light up. You then need to go to the corresponding fireplace. There are 3 scattered around the map. The first is in the tech room, which will point out which symbol corresponds to which fireplace in a second. The second one is up and to the right of the first dragon, just in the room with the Vesper. I think there's a gobblegum machine there as well. And the third one is just opposite Samantha's room, again, just from the first dragon area. So, yep, that takes us on to step 8, which is based on the symbol that appeared at the top of the clock. you then need to go to one of the 3 circles that you were killing zombies in the previous step, and you need to use arrows while you're inside this thing to create volcanic platforms from which you can then shoot more arrows to eventually reach the fireplace that corresponds to the symbol. So if you get the symbol you see in the top right corner now, you need to go to the circle near double tap, and you need to shoot arrows in the way that we show to get to the fireplace that's opposite Samantha's room. And from here, when you light the fireplace up, you can put your arrow in and then take it back out again. Now it's charged. If you get the next symbol, you need to stand on the circle that's next to the clock tower, shoot the arrows in the way you see. You're aiming for the fireplace that's just to the right of the first dragon head. You only get 3 arrows to do this, so you have to do it in as few arrows as possible, so the way we're showing you will definitely get it done. If you run out of arrows, you have to then restart at the start of next round, unfortunately, so that's just the way it is. And so if you get the final symbol that you see, you have to start at the death ray and go for the tech room fireplace, and that takes on to step 9. So step 9 is really simple. You now take the charged arrow that you got from the fireplace that you shot with your bow, and then you return to the big red sun that was glowing next to the death ray. You place your arrow in the sun, it will go crazy, attract loads of rocks, and then it will go boom. And then from here you can pick up your Reforged Arrow, which takes us on to the final step, which, as you can probably tell, is the same as all the other bows, where you go back down to the temple, and you put your arrow in the podium that corresponds to the bow that you're doing. This one's the fire one, so you go to this one here. I don't exactly know how to locate that with directional words, but you basically kill zombies near the pyramid, sorry, and they'll start spawning, you know, some orange souls, and when they stop spawning, or when your arrow starts glowing, you will be able to put your bow into the podium, as you can see here, and it will upgrade into the fire bow. The perks of the fire bow over the other ones is it gets a really, really nice regular arrow shot, which is really powerful, and it has a nice little area effect on it. I think they all do, but this one is definitely got some power increase on it, and it's charge shot, as you can see. It basically, all the zombies in the vicinity of the charge shot when it lands will get trapped in volcanoes where they'll melt and burn, and basically it's an instant kill, which is also kind of convenient. I think you can run through these volcanoes, so it's basically just as good as the spirit bow, if not better, because it has a wider area of effect. But that's basically the fire bow explained. That's fairly long process, longer than all the other bows, but that's all from us. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. We hope it was very helpful to you guys. Thank you for watching all these videos, and we'll see you guys some other time. Take care.
Sink your teeth into my bones, dig me out, then fill the hole. Tear me apart, watch it burn. Tear me apart, watch it burn. All that's left is a window to my soul. Come and get it.